Hello and welcome to a new series for Budget Model Railways. So this is the culmination of two projects. I've always wanted to have a go at building, if you like, the minimum shunting layout that you could get away with. What's the smallest shunting layout you could get away with and have a lot of fun? So that's what we've got here. And this was a trial. So what I've used is a bit of roofing felt that you've seen us use before, but I've dry brushed grey paint on to look like ballast. And for this particular project, I've only used very old Hornby manual points because that's all this project was. However, it's then morphed into a second idea, which I've had for a long while, which was a project where a complete beginner could build it. I'm not going to scratch build anything. This is all just kits that you can go and buy. Now, it is a bit more expensive than what we normally do, but thanks to our patrons and our members, we have a little bit of funds. So this is really going to be two layouts in one, but it's primarily about a complete beginner's guide to how to build a little shunting layout. So let's look at how we worked out the track plan. So the first important thing is your passing loop. Now, most people are going to end up using these Hornby four-wheel coaches. So I needed a loop that is big enough to get 3 coaches in, just. Now, interestingly, the longer loop here is fractionally longer, and you can get 4 short wagons in. Now, the most important thing with the track plan, which people tend to forget, isn't the passing loop in many ways, it's this end. It's the head shunt. And I've seen lots of books saying the head shunt should be as long as your longest loco. In fact, the head shunt needs to be long enough to get your loco and 1 wagon. Because if it's not, you can't shunt this siding effectively. So this will take an 040 loco and a long wagon, coach for instance, or it will take an 060 and a short wagon. And obviously, if you're that way inclined, you can use modern traction 060. Now, I've cheated a little bit. I put a very short buffer stop because that is to allow the coupling to come off the track. Again, something people forget. If you put a more conventional buffer stop there, you can't get the coach and wagon on. Now, I've kept this simple. There's only 3 points because I wanted to keep the cost down. What it also means is you've only got to put a power feed in here, and that will power the whole layout, including the fiddle yard, which I'll show in a moment, off of the back end there. So that's the track plan, nice and simple. And that, down here the other evening, and by using a facility here and a facility there and one there, you can get a lot of shunting into this layout. So what board have we got it on? Well, this is 1 metre in new money, or 39 inches in imperial. It was a 9-inch board and I've added a 1/2 inch. Now, you can get away with the 9-inch board, which I believe is a standard, but it is a little tight, and I'll show you in a second what we're going to do with the buildings. I'll take these off here because we're going to turn the board up. If you could get a 10-inch bit of board, so much the better. All this is actually a shelf from a furniture unit that I broke up. But you can buy it, keep a look in skips, something like that. You do not need to do the traditional beams and everything underneath. This is a small layout that's going to live on a shelf, so we don't need a big frame underneath. If you go somewhere that will cut it to size, or you can buy a piece, you could effectively have no carpentry skills and get your baseboard. Now, you'll need to buy a ballast mat, either by Javis or Gauge Master, unless you've got a bit of roofing felt. But if you've got a bit of roofing felt, it'll work fine, especially if you do the grey paint. If not, and what I'm going to do through this video, every time I mention a product, Doug will put a little screenshot on the screen of that product, and at the end we'll do a list. I'll say it at the beginning so I don't repeat myself all through the videos. You really need to shop around. I recently bought a daypole building for £6.30 that someone else on eBay was trying to get £18 for. You do need to do a bit of homework because some people will do a low price and a very high postage. Have a shop around, don't pay the very high prices. And that applies whether we're talking track or buildings. So what track have we got here? We have a Hornby double straight. We have 2 Hornby right-hand points and a Hornby left-hand point. And again, Doug will put the R numbers on. We need a short straight here and what's called a single straight and a short straight. We need a short straight and a single straight here. And we need a short straight here. You'll also need a bit of battening like this to make your fiddle yard. That just slots on the end. And you'll need potentially a double straight and a single straight to make that. You can get Hornby or Pico. When it comes to points, I would get Pico points if you're buying new. They're the same price as Hornby more or less, but they're a much superior point, especially with running because the plastic frogs are smaller. Now, what I would say, although the idea of this layout is you can buy everything new, I would buy second hand. We have built every model railway we've built. How many exhibition layouts have we done now? 3 or 4 exhibition layouts, a large loft layout, probably a dozen shunting layouts, and every single one of them has been built with second-hand track. So if you're new to this, and this is a guide for complete beginners, ignore everything you see about don't buy second-hand track. This is a piece of plastic with 2 bits of metal on it. There are no working parts. There is nothing to go wrong. You might need to change the fish plates. You will need to give the track a bit of a clean if it's second-hand. The only point we've ever had break was the only new point we ever bought. There is nothing wrong with second-hand points and they will save you half your cost. However, if you're not happy with second-hand, I've reduced it to 3 points and that will bring your cost down. So there we go. That's the track plan. That's the board. I think I worked it out. It's getting on for about £60 worth of track, but 45 of that new is the points. The track is relatively cheap. Now, what we'll do quickly, we'll show you something else about track plan. If you're going to buy all this as one project, I would find a retailer, somebody like Kernow or Hatton's or one of the big ones, where you can buy it all in one go and reduce your postage charge. So very quickly then, just the final thing with track plan, of course, is how is it all going to work? Well, we're going to have a passenger station there, like this. We're going to have a goods shed there, put our goods wagons there. We've already seen the coal yard. And we're going to have a little loading dock here. Now don't worry where these come from at the moment, we'll do that as part of the second video. But that then is our track plan: goods, station, goods and coal. So lots to do, and these will all be commercially available kits. And then all I'm going to do very quickly is just to show you how you actually lay your track. So you've got 2 choices: traditional track pin, very simple, you hit it with a hammer. Now I tend to use a drift just to finish it off, like that. However, personally myself, I like the new track screws. You can buy them as a pack on eBay with the screwdriver and they just screw in. The reason I prefer these is that if you have a problem, you can unscrew it. If you try taking that out, you'll almost always break the sleeper. And then one more thing about laying the track. Don't start at this end and work that way because you'll find your track sticking out. Put all the track together. If you use new fish plates, it'll all hold together quite nicely. Put it on the board, line it up until you've got your join in the right place and you've got enough there and enough here. If you're only using a 9-inch board, you will need to move this siding this way. You can see that there's about 5mm there because there's not quite enough room otherwise, and you will then need to cut a little piece off the back of the platform to make it fit. But if you can't get a 9.5-inch board, you can do it on a 9-inch board. You'll just need to move this forward. You'll see this platform has a lip on it, and basically you take that lip off and then it will just fit. So there we go. That's part 1 of a complete beginner's guide to making a shunting model railway. That's your baseboard done and your track done. And what we'll do in the next video is we'll show you the buildings, we'll talk about where they've come from, and then we'll show you how we paint them and how we make it. So I hope you're going to enjoy this series. It is a little different. It's going to cost a bit more money, but I'm trying to do something for people who don't have the skills or don't think they have the skills to make scratch built, which is much cheaper. Just want to be able to buy some bits and make a model railway. So let us know what you think of this. Thank you as always for watching, and stay safe in these difficult times. Hi, thanks for watching the video and for the nice comments. Click on the left for a previous video in this series, click on the right for another video you might enjoy, and please don't forget to click to subscribe, like, comment, etc. Thanks again.